to another episode of the Cozy Cottage Crochet Podcast. My name is Hannah, and this is a podcast all about crochet, a little bit of knitting, sometimes sewing, and generally living the yarniest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live. How are you? It is July. It's officially July, which means the second quarter of the year is officially over, not like the last two podcast episodes where I was apparently confused about what month it was. What month even is it, honestly? Honestly, the calendar says it's July. Emotionally, I feel like it's April. So I am so excited that you are here. We have some things to talk about, some things that I've been working on, and yeah, I feel a little all over the place today, so you may be able to tell in the video, I'm not sure. Today was a crazy day at work, not for any particular reason. It wasn't like anything bad happened. There was just so much going on at work. I literally, in the middle of the day, was like, okay, I just need a minute. Like my head hurt, my brain had melted out of my ears. I was tired, I was hungry. So I went outside, I took a little walk, and then I ate a snack, and then I felt better and I made it through the rest of the day. So now I am home. It's 5:30. And I'm going to record this while my husband is doing yard work. So hopefully, fingers crossed, there won't be too much background noise. But you know what? If there is, it's okay, because that means he's mowing the yard. And what a delightful thing for him to do. I don't want to go outside. It's too hot. It's too hot. So let's just jump right in, shall we? Grab your favorite beverage or whatever you happen to be drinking. I have a tall glass of plain water because that seems to be all I can drink lately. Everything tastes like chemicals to me, except for water. I can drink a little bit of juice, but all of like soda. I used to love drinking sparkling waters. No, everything tastes like chemicals. So plain water it is for me. If you are looking for me anywhere on the interweb, you can find me as the Cozy Cottage Crochet on Instagram. You can find me as the Cozy Cottage on Ravelry. We have a Ravelry group for this podcast where some KALs are running. You can find that linked directly down below, as well as all of the patterns that I have available. And we have some make-alongs running. So the first make-along that we have running is the Mission Impossible Mal, which is, you have 6 more months, July till December 31st, to make something that really challenges you. And it can be anything, big, small, any craft, doesn't matter to me, as long as it's somehow fiber related and it has to really challenge you. So there's that. There is the Year of Classics 2020, which of course is running until December as well. And that is to make things that actually fit in your wardrobe. And I have some progress on that front to show you in a few moments. And then finally, we have the Wizarding Mal 2020, which I'm co-hosting with Claudia of the Crochet Luna podcast, who is simply fabulous. And this is a sock and sewing make-along. So you can make socks, you can make project bags, you can make both, you can have double entries. I'm hosting the finished objects thread, and you have 6 more months, 6 more prompts to enter. So where shall we begin? It's just so hard to tell. What am I wearing? This is a crochet design that I've made that I wear very frequently. And I wear it frequently because I made this out of 100% silk yarn. And it's lace. It's like a light fingering lace weight yarn. And it weighs nothing. And it's not hot. And it doesn't bother me even when it's 90 something degrees outside. So this is the Vanya KAL, which as you can see is lace and texture. And I made this out of Fat Bunny yarn, and I will leave a link to Fat Bunny yarn directly down below if you'd like to check it out. This is her, I can't remember what the base is called, but it's 100% silk, and this was the colorway Dahlia, and I took 2 50-gram skeins to make this, and I love wearing this. Like anytime I need just to zhuzh up my outfit a little, I feel a little plain, I feel a little weird, I grab this cowl and I throw it on because it's perfect. So I've been wearing it today. Now, I have been working on 1 crochet project and 2 knitting projects, and I have been unworking another crochet project. So I'm gonna start with the project that looks the most impressive, and it is my project for the Year of Classics 2020. I am making it out of loops and threads wool-like. This is the colorway Teal Lake. This is my 3rd ball. So I think I should be able to get the rest of this cardigan out of this final third ball, which means the whole thing is gonna cost like $12 if you pay full price. This is the Angela cardigan, which is a crochet pattern by Vicky Chan, and I am all tangled up. Now it's inside out right now. So where we were last time, I had completed the two, this was all in pieces, this was not seamed. So I completed the two front panels and I still had about this much of the back panel left to do. So I completed the back panel, and then before I seamed it, I stretched it out and blocked it. It took like every single pin that I own to block it out, because I blocked it really aggressively because I wanted it to like double in length, and it did. So you can see in some places I did kind of a bad job blocking the mesh, but overall it looks really good. And it's going to stay like that because this mesh, this yarn is acrylic, so I steam blocked it, so it's going to stay. It's still a little bit stiff. You can see like right here. I may go back and reblock it just a little bit to get some of the parts that weren't stretched out quite as uniformly as I would like. But then I seamed the shoulders, following the instructions in the pattern, which I honestly found really fiddly, but I did it. I followed the instructions, I seamed the shoulders, and this is what it looks like. So I don't have the collar done, obviously. So this is what I mean when I say it's a little stiff. Like, it definitely needs to go through the washer and the dryer so the fibers will relax. So the armhole is about this big. It goes about down to my elbow, just about, which is fine because I'm going to add a cuff here on both sides. So that's how long it is. And then when I stand up, you can see it goes like almost below my butt, like mid butt. So I think it will be just perfect. It's very loose, very drapey. Very excited about that. It weighs nothing. It's super, super light. And currently, this project is irritating me to death because I am working on the collar and it is taking so long. And this is why we have the Year of the Classics now, because the things that we like to wear are not necessarily the things that we like to make. Like, this is literally thousands and thousands of chain stitches and single crochets to make the body, and then you have this collar band that you have to add on in a microscopic hook, I might add. Like, this is taking so long. This is probably from here to here. That's how much I've done, which is not even one whole side. I still have this much left before I get to the shoulder seam. Oh no, this is the shoulder seam. I have that much left before I get to the shoulder seam, and I can work across the top and then down the other side. That's 3 nights of work. This little piece, this little piece is 3 nights of work. Can you believe that? Crazy. But it's ribbing with I'm using a 3mm hook, a light fingering weight yarn, and it's in the 3rd loop. The ribbing is in the 3rd loop, which, as you can see, looks wonderful, but is a pain. Now I am kind of doing my own thing on the ribbing. I'm following the stitch counts and of course the stitch counts and the stitch pattern, but I'm not following the joining instructions. So down at the bottom, you can see like here, there's not really a hole in between the mesh and the collar, but here, right here, there is a hole. And that is because for the first couple of rows, I followed the instructions of the pattern. And basically what she has you do is when you're joining, you kind of drop the loop, pick it back up from the other side, and then continue going. So it leaves that hole. And so first of all, I find that very fiddly. And second of all, I find that not as sturdy as I would like it to be. I don't want there to be that hole. So I left that one because I figured one wasn't a big deal. But what I am doing instead is when I get to the mesh, when I get to the side where the actual crochet is, not over here, is I will slip stitch around and then I will slip stitch 1 stitch up. So this will not come off. There's no holes, there's no breaks in it at all. I just prefer a much sturdier join on the collar band. Once I am done with the collar band, which honestly, who knows when that's going to happen? This is like, tomorrow night I have a goal to work on this. and my goal is to get to here. Like that might even be outrageous in one night. I don't know, it takes so long. Once the color is done, of course, I'm going to do the same thing on the sleeves and add that sleeve cuff. There is a border edging. It's kind of like a little bit of a picot almost edge that she does on the collar. And I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I really like how the ribbing looks by itself, and I'm just gonna leave it because I'm making this for me and I'm the one who has to wear it, so I can make it however I want, right? And that's just like something for you to know if you're making patterns. I sometimes hear a lot of people being like, I didn't make your pattern exactly how it was written and I'm really sorry. Don't worry about it. Like, you have creative license. You can make whatever you want. You can make whatever makes you happy. And I am not making long sleeves on this cardigan because it won't be practical for Florida, because that makes me happy. And I'm doing a cuff directly onto the sleeve hole instead of having that sleeve, so that makes me happy. I'm doing my own kind of join, and I don't think I'm gonna do the edging because I like how it looks right now. So you have the freedom to modify patterns however you want. Don't be scared to modify patterns. The worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work and you rip it out, right? Like it's annoying, but it's not like life ending. So it's just yarn. It's just yarn. So it feels like I have made a major amount of progress on this because it looks like a cardigan now, but there is honestly so much still to go. So much. I don't know when it's gonna be done. That collar has to be finished. And then of course, sleeve cuffs have to be finished. And then I may reblock a little bit. It's inside out currently, or at least I've decided that it's inside out. There's not really a right side and a wrong side, but I like one side of the seam, the shoulder seams better. So I'm gonna flip it at the end once I'm done with the collar. So that's the first project. The first very exciting Year of the Classics project that is a perfect example of the things that we like to wear are not necessarily the things we like to make. It's just how it goes, right? The next project, I have only put 2 rows on. And I only put 2 rows on because someone commented and then I felt guilty that I hadn't touched it. So someone asked me my status on this shawl and I had not touched it in quite some time. So I pulled it out and I did 2 rows. I still have 11 more rows of this border to do, which is like 680 something stitches. So this also, I really would like this to be done sometime soon, but I just don't know. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot, okay? This is what it looks like. It is the transition shawl by Hand Knit by Cam. So this is a huge, I dropped my pin, fingering weight knitted shawl. I have done the entire thing. This is like a 2-year whip that I have been working on. I'm using Valley Yarns Haydenville, pretty sure. Valley Yarn, no, not Haydenville. Valley Yarns Charlemont, which is a 60% merino, 20% silk, and 20% nylon yarn. And there's a dark green, a light green, a dark gray, and a light gray. This is the one I have the most of left. These 2 I just have like little bits, like maybe 20, maybe 30 grams, not sure. So I'm using the dark gray, and this is what it looks like. It's all scrunched up. It's like impossible to show, honestly. And hopefully I'm not dumping any stitches off the edge. I don't want to spread it out too much. So you start there. It's like a half a hexie shawl, and I've done all of this stockinette. And then I'm on this brioche border. It's like 1 pash brioche. So that's kind of where I was last time. I've done 2 rows. It's very squishy. I have 4 rows left of this gray, and then it wants me to change colors and do 7 rows in the light green. And I honestly kind of just want the border to be gray. I followed the color change pattern exactly until now, but I kind of just want the border to be, I feel like if I put light green at the end, it's gonna look really weird. So I'm thinking I should have enough yarn left to do 11 rows in this gray. Like, I have half a ball almost. I don't know if that's quite 50 grams, but I think I should be able to do it. So I don't know. I just don't know. But I have 11 more rows, and one row takes me a very long time. I would like this to be finished at some point before the baby comes. It's just beautiful. And that's the reason I wanted to make it, is because when I first saw it, when I first saw the shawl, I was like, oh, it's beautiful. I must make this. It's so pretty. And so I am making it. It's just that I don't really love working on it. The stockinette part is fine, but certainly I don't enjoy the brioche. And even when I'm done with that, and then I have to do the bind off, like 680 stitches. Look at all these ends. Those all have to be woven in. So that's not going to be fun either. But I feel like this is almost a Mission Impossible now project, simply because it's so massive. It's been so long that this whip has been going on. And I would really, really like it to be completely finished before December. When this baby gets here, I just wanna, I'm not like interested in clearing out all of my whips, but this one is so long-term and so old that I would really like it to be done. The next one I have is actually some sock progress. No, not on the blue pair of socks that has been languishing for months and months. I really need to get off my butt and finish that pair of socks. Like, I just need to make myself finish them. These are my socks for, I believe, the August prompt of the Wizarding Mail, which is House Cup, because Hufflepuff, and these are the ones I showed you last time. These are my little baby socks, because I'm making mommy and me socks. So these obviously took only a day. And this one has taken a month, but I almost have one sock done. So I cast on 64 stitches on a 2.25 millimeter 9-inch circular Chalgu red lace. That's how I knit all my socks. So I did 15 rows of rib. Then I just did that amount, I don't know how many inches that is, of stripes. I put in a Fish Lips Kiss heel, and now I'm working down the foot. I think I have maybe half an inch left before the toe. Maybe not even half an inch. Probably definitely another black stripe and part of a yellow stripe, I think. This is Nora George Hufflepuff yarn. It was a lovely gift from a viewer of this podcast named Lydia, and I'm hoping this will be enough for one more sock. It should be. And if it's not, I do have this little nug of yarn as well. So I should be able to get one full sock out of this. Did I weigh or measure anything? No, why would I do that? This is my project keeper. It came with a Hufflepuff pin. So I attached a pin to my heel. That's where I was last time. I was in the middle of the heel. So I have done all of this foot since the last time we spoke. And I mean, I'm using this as my stitch marker. Who says you need to use a pin only on bags? You can use it on your knitting too. So yeah, this is, the black yarn is just a generic black. And then this of course is Nora George, which I'm really happy. Of course, I'm knitting on these and everyone's like, oh, are you making bumblebee socks? I can understand how you would make that mistake, but if you know me as a person, you will know that I am a Hufflepuff, so no, I am not making bumblebee socks. Come on. Come on. So that's exciting. Oop, let me put the baby socks in there. I'm keeping them all together until the very end. Otherwise, I will misplace them for sure. The last project is the one that I have been unmaking. It's the one that I showed you last time and told you my tale of woe. It's living in this fabulous Mrs. Brown crochet bag. There was a gift from Amanda, who is one of my patrons. I just love this bag so much. Thank you, Amanda. It makes me happy every time I look at it. So the yarn that I am using, this is yarn on the Prairie yarn. This is the colorway Voltage. This is Electric Blue. I love them. I have ripped out the entire thing. I know. It was 70 grams of yarn. It was this long. And there were some very helpful suggestions. So the problem in last time was that the green part was this wide and the blue part was bowing out. However, I did a significant amount of math. So I did a lot of gauge measuring, because did I do a gauge swatch to begin with? No. Should have. I did a lot of math and measuring. and calculating. And I realized that even if I decreased the number of stitches for the blue yarn, there is no way that I would have enough yarn to make it the length that I needed it to be. So I couldn't make it the length I needed to be, even if I just ripped out the blue part and kept going. So I have had to rework in my brain the entire design to make it fit the amount of yarn, which is why you're supposed to swatch. So let me just give you a tip. If you are ever thinking about creating or designing a crochet pattern, I know swatching is irritating. Trust me, I know, because did I do it? No, I did not. If you don't swatch, you won't know what your gauge is. If you don't know what your gauge is, you can't do math to figure out how big you want the thing to be. And if you don't do math to figure out how big you want the thing to be and how much yarn you're going to use, then you run the risk of ripping out the entire thing. Which I did. Here we go. And I am in the middle. I have actually just started. Ooh, and it does not have a stitch marker in it. So let me be careful not to rip that out. I have just started. This is a tiny gauge swatch. Now I know based on my gauge that I don't need to swatch for the entire cowl again, because I know what I want to do, but I'm going to be incorporating some striping, I believe. So I want to do just a mini swatch to make sure that I like how the striping is going to look. So here is the beginnings of a swatch. All of this was unmade. I was very sad about it to begin with, but honestly, this is how crochet design goes. It is very, very rare that you will just sit down and a design will pop fully formed out of your head onto paper into yarn and you will have no issues. That's happened to me maybe twice and I've released like 16 patterns. So generally what happens is you have an idea, either you start with the yarn or you start with a story or you start with a shape for me, and then you kind of think about it for a while and then you should try something on yarn, swatch, do some math, and then you can start to work on it. But sometimes it just doesn't work and you have to rip it out. As frustrating and annoying and sad as that may be, you just have to rip things out sometimes. And I know this poor yarn has been frogged a lot, but if you look at it, it still looks pretty brand new. So very impressed with this yarn. And I'll leave a link to her shop down below as well if you would like to get your hands on some. I know, and I knew from the bottom of my heart that I would not be happy unless this was right. And if I kept going, it wouldn't be right. And I'm not a perfectionist by any means. Like, I will totally fudge a mistake when I make something. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I knew that this wasn't what I wanted it to be. And so therefore it had to be ripped out. So now, based on all my numbers, as long as this little swatch works out, I will start reworking it again. And I have a really nice story, I think, and name for this pattern as well, which I will share with you as we move along. I just know it wasn't gonna be right, and now it needs to be right. Like, it has to be right. For this design to come into the world, it needs to be worth your time. It needs to be worth my time. It needs to be worthy of the yarn. And swatch. The lesson from this is swatch, even if it's annoying. That's all I've been working on. It's 4 projects, but it's not like a ton of progress because I wasn't feeling super good. So it's been 2 weeks since I've recorded. The first week, I would say I was feeling pretty terrible. So I did very, very little crochet. I only frogged that thing the first week. And that's part of the reason. I know I get some people who are like, I wish you would podcast every week. And while that would be very, very fun, there's 2 reasons why I don't do that. One is I know myself and I know my limits. And by that, I mean, I set this up originally as a bi-weekly podcast so that I would not get burned out. If I was doing this every week, I would get tired of it. Not tired of talking to you, but like the pressure of having to do this every week would be too much for me. And I know that that's true. So I've always made this a bi-weekly podcast, and it takes the stress off of me and it makes me just have a much better time. The second reason that I do this as bi-weekly is because sometimes there are just weeks where I don't do any crochet and I won't have anything to talk about. So then what am I supposed to tell you if I've literally done nothing? So like, for example, this past 2 weeks where 1 week I barely did anything except go to work, eat, and sleep and feel miserable. this last week has been a little bit better, so I've been able to get some crochet in. And having a bi-weekly podcast gives me that space to be like 2 weeks. Even if I take a few days off, I could take 7 days off, 5 days off. And it's very rare that I need longer than that, because after about that time, I get a little antsy. Like I need to crochet, I need to do some stuff. So that's why I podcast every 2 weeks. And that's why this schedule works for me. I have gotten some exciting things in the mail. One of which was a lovely gift of a ball of sock yarn, which is Christmas sock yarn, from a viewer of this podcast who wants to remain anonymous, so I will not say her name. But she sent me, it's a West Yorkshire Spinners ball of sock yarn. This is it's like a Christmas thing that came with the yarn and it has this sock pattern included, which is called Christmas Robin Socks by Winwick Mum. Let's see if I can. That is what it is called. So it came with that. And then she sent me the ball of sock yarn itself, which looks like this. And it's a Christmas robin. And there were some lovely stitch markers as well. And then she also sent me a bar of soap, which is not, it's in the bathroom being used, but this yarn still smells like it. So this is I don't think, West Yorkshire Spinners does not have a colorway name on there. Ooh, I don't know if it has one in the pattern or if it just says, yeah, it says the colorway is 941 Robin. So I don't know if this was a limited edition colorway for Christmas or if it's still available. I have made 2 pairs of socks out of West Yorkshire Spinners, and both of them have held up extremely well. And I loved working with the yarn. It's very hardy. And I just think this is like the perfect Christmas sock yarn. It's like so subtle. And I was born in Virginia, where there are robins everywhere. So I just love it. I love it. It's so pretty. So thank you so much. You know who you are. And this is 437 yards, which could be enough to make something not a pair of socks, to make a little cardigan, perhaps, for a tiny human. We'll see. We'll see. I may be getting overboard with my plans. I also got in the mail a box that I will go through with you from a viewer of this podcast named JD. I believe that's how you say your name, JD. She has been watching for quite a while. She wrote me, and the yarn is beautiful, but she wrote me the sweetest note of all time. And I know I'm emotional right now because I'm pregnant, okay? But I cried, like in a good way, because, and I hope this is okay to share. I'm not gonna read the note out loud, but basically what she said is that me talking about mental health and anxiety and my own struggles that I've been through in my life has really helped her be more open and transparent in her own life with the things that she goes through. And I just cried because I love crochet and I love knitting, right? And I love this medium, and this is the Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast, and this is all what it's all about, right? But underneath all of that, I am really passionate about mental health, like why I do what I do and why I share as much as I share and why I'm as transparent as I am is because I want you to know that it's okay. Like whatever you're feeling, I want you to know that it's normal to have struggles and to have mental health issues. And I think the world would really benefit if we were more honest about that. And so to hear someone say that that meant a lot to them just really meant a lot to me. And I kind of lost it for a little bit, but I'm back together now. So thank you very much. And now I will show you the yarn. She also sent me some fun little things that I haven't tried yet. This is a face mask, which I will be trying, maybe this weekend. There's also body gel and shower oil, fancy. And a little tube of foot cream, which smells very good. So just like some pampering stuff, which I will definitely be using. And then of course there's a whole box of yarn. So I'm just gonna pull things out. There is 2 balls of this Plymouth Dandelion yarn. It's 80% acrylic and 20% cotton. I honestly feel like this would be such a fun thing to make like burp cloths or something out of. I don't know, there's 2 balls of this pink Doesn't say what color it is. 2002. It's 80% cotton. Dandelion yarn. And then there's a 50-gram ball of this Conway Bliss Clio, which is 62% cotton, 38% nylon. And it's like a, hopefully you can see this. It's like a flat rope yarn, like a tube yarn. So very cool. There's 2 balls of this Bernat Baby Blanket Tiny in the colorway something. What? I don't know. It's 100% polyester, 100 grams, 316 yards. And I do not know. Oh, Dandelion Skies. That is the colorway. What a perfect name for this. It looks exactly like Dandelion Skies. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this yarn, but I like it very much, very much. And I love Bernat blanket yarn. Almost all of the baby blankets that I make for people are made in Bernat blanket yarn because it's thick, it's squishy, it's endlessly washable. And you can use it not just as a blanket, but as like a playmat or something on the floor because it's so thick and squishy. So, love it. There is 2 skeins of Knit Crates Vita Lana Ascendance in the colorway Ancient Ruin. This is 100% wool, but it is again one of these tubey kind of yarns. It's not itchy at all, even though it's 100% Peruvian Highland wool, and it's a sport weight. So I don't know what this needs to be. Like, what does this need to be? It's just perfect. I'm like really into green at the moment. I don't know why. Why am I into green? I'm into it. And this yarn, I pulled this out and immediately was like, it's beautiful. And I think I have to make something for the baby out of this, because I think there's enough to make a little baby sweater. Again, it's like this beautiful neutral green, and this is gonna be like an in-between Thanksgiving and Christmas baby. So isn't this like the most perfect color you ever saw for a little baby sweater? Oh my God, I can't even right now. But do I have the energy to make anything? Not really. This is Knightsbridge by the Fiber Company. The colorway is Bishop's Green. This is possibly the softest yarn, like if not the softest, one of the softest yarns I've ever felt. And I have never in my life held yarn like this. This is 65% baby llama, 25% merino, and 10% silk. Like, I've never even seen yarn like this. Baby llama, like what a cool, have I even touched llama yarn in my life? I don't think so. It is so soft. And my skin is fairly sensitive. It's not prickling me at all. And there you get 120 yards for 50 grams, and there's 250 grams here, which, what size is this? I don't know. It doesn't say like if it's a worsted. I think it's probably more of like a DK, I would imagine. That is enough to make a baby cardigan, right? I'm thinking it's definitely enough to make a newborn cardigan, but I think it's probably enough to make like a 3-month size. I'll have to do some research. But if I can make a 3 to 6 month size cardigan, because the baby will be born right in time to wear a sweater, then it will fit for a little while, and I can use every scrap of this amazing. I just cannot. Can you get over how beautiful this is? I don't know why I'm so into green, but I pulled it out and I was like, I just want to sleep on this yarn, and I just need to make something for this tiny human with this. So stay tuned. I have no idea what it will become. Well, I mean, it will become something for the baby. I am fingers crossed it will be a baby sweater. I just need to see how big, if that is in fact DK yarn. I'm wondering if I can make a Gramps sweater, like I made my husband a Gramps sweater, which of course they won't match because his is blue, but he can make a tiny Gramps sweater. Oh my God. Can you even? I can't. Okay, let's keep going. There is 2 balls of this, which again, such a unique yarn. This is Kartopu, 75% acrylic, 15% wool, 10% Lincoln. What is that, nylon maybe? I don't know. Made in Turkey. You get 8, 896 yards. Is that correct? I don't know. It might be 896 yards. It looks like it's a fingering weight to me, but it doesn't really say. It doesn't really say, but look at this. That's really pretty. And this yarn, you can kind of see it has such an amazing halo to it. I just feel like this could make the biggest shawl on the planet. And they're the same. Oh, here it is, 200 grams, 820 meters. So what is meters in yards? I do not know. I can't convert that. I mean, I could if I was Googling it, but in my head I can't. And they are the same colorway. I just really, really like them a lot. Like, what a unique fuzzy yarn. Maybe like a little bit scratchy from the wool. So I don't know, like it needs to be something. What if it made a curtain? Wouldn't it make a beautiful lace curtain? I have ideas. More ideas than I have time, certainly. There's 2 balls of this Serenity Garden yarn, which is 100% acrylic, I believe. The colorway is hibiscus. It is a sport weight, and it is 100% acrylic. So pretty. This would make a really pretty sockhead hat. Yes, it would. And then there is this pack of 5 balls of Kartopu Lula Baby yarn. I don't know what color this is either, but it is 100% acrylic. And you get some yarn for some yardage. I don't know how much. Let's see. 280 meters for 100 grams. You can get a baby blanket out of this too. And then this one is Kartopu Angora Natural Prints. So it's 10% wool, 10% mohair, 80% acrylic. 100 grams, 530 meters. So what size yarn is that? I don't know. Small, smaller than this. I bet this is like fingering weight. This is really pretty as well. Like a sweater's quantity. It's like a sweater's quantity of yarn. So of course, as you know, as with anything that gets sent to me, I'm just incredibly grateful. Like, nobody has to send me anything, but like it definitely keeps this podcast running. It keeps me producing patterns and creating things for you, and it enables me to do giveaways. So there will be some giveaways as well from these things. I don't know, I think I'm gonna have to keep these, but we'll see. I might have to keep those too. And these are definitely staying with me because they're definitely going to be something for the baby. Just gorgeous yarn. I don't know what to do with myself with that yarn. So thank you, Jamie. I am consistently, making a mess. That's not what I was gonna say. I am consistently blown away by all of you and how generous you are and how thoughtful you are. And honestly, like I said, that note made me cry, but in the best way possible. And thank you isn't enough, but it's all I have to give back at the moment. So I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. And I cannot wait to see what all of these beautiful things turn into. So exciting. So I guess that moves on to life update because I am run out of things to talk about. And so now we shall talk about the bump date. The bump date is an update on my baby bump. I am currently, as I record this, 17 weeks pregnant. And I have a pomegranate or something of that size, a pomegranate-sized baby. And the other day my app told me that its feet are the size of gummy bears, and I totally was like, what? I can't. How many times in this episode can I say I can't? Because I literally can't. So this is the bump date. This is my body. This is the baby bump. It's definitely it's definitely looking more like a baby bump and less like I had way too many Corona snacks. Although today, part of that baby bump is just air. I don't even feel like the bump was as big as it is this. It's bigger now than it was this morning. I don't know what's happening in there. I haven't felt any baby movements yet, but it's still early, you know? It's like 18 to 20 2 weeks is, I think, when you're supposed to start feeling something. My abs hurt a little bit, like they're being stretched, because they are. I've been rubbing lotioning all over myself. This may be TMI, but the bra struggles are real. They're so real. And especially because of the virus situation, you can't try anything on anywhere. So I keep buying things, trying them on at home, and then returning them because they're terrible. I know all of you are dying to know what happened with the giant pillow situation from the last episode. And I hate to disappoint the people who loved that pillow so much. However, I hated it and returned it. I have a few very specific complaints about why I didn't like it. First of all, I am very dehydrated and need to keep drinking water. So I got the U one because I like to flop back and forth. I did enjoy kind of hugging the pillow, so that was comfortable. One of the things that I didn't like was that the U itself, when it comes up here, the pillow was like this wide. But on the inside, the seam of the pillowcase and the thing that held the stuffing in was smaller than the pillow was wide. So it like dug into my neck when I was trying to use it, which I really did not appreciate. Also, the main reason I returned it is it just made my neck hurt. And I don't think that I can have a pillow that goes behind my head. I do have neck problems. And back problems and shoulder problems. I'm just falling apart, okay? But I always have. And so I have a very specific, my husband is like weed whacking very loudly right outside this window, which I appreciate very much, but it may be a little noisy, so I do apologize. I have a Tempur-Pedic pillow, and I refuse to sleep on any other pillow anytime, no matter what, because it will give me a neck ache, and then I'll have shoulder pain, and my head hurts, and like it's a migraine trigger. It's like a whole thing. So we also have a Tempur-Pedic mattress, which my husband and I bought when we first got married because we were sleeping on his full-sized bed, which, ooh, that was a nightmare. This is what I tell people: unless you're a snuggler, which I am not, don't touch me when I'm sleeping. It's too hot and you're gonna wake me up. I don't want to be touched. But like, unless you're a snuggler, get a king-size bed. Like, I need to be able to roll over completely and not touch anything. It will save, it's like the one piece of marriage advice I always give people. Get a comfortable, large bed. If you don't have a large, comfortable bed, you will not sleep. And if you don't sleep, you will be grumpy. And if you are grumpy, you will blow up for no reason over something stupid, like the dishes are in the sink, or the toilet seat is up, or the toothpaste cap is off. It doesn't matter. Something stupid will set you off, and you'll be fighting literally because you weren't sleeping. Get a big bed. That is my relationship advice 101. So we have a big bed and it is delightful. And literally our room is like so small because most of the space is in our living room and kitchen in our house. So the rooms are really small. So our room is just like a bed in a room. And I don't care because my sleep is more valuable than anything else to me. So where was I going with that? I don't think I can have a pillow behind my neck. So my neck hurting, that was a complaint. I also found the pillowcase on it itself to be really prickly. Like, I don't know if it was the quality of cotton they used for the pillowcase or what, but it like made me very itchy, which I didn't like. And then finally, as huge as that pillow was, it wasn't actually long enough. So the long like body pillow kind of piece only went down to right past my knees. So when I had it between my legs, my top leg kind of hung off the edge and it was giving me like knee pain. So I don't know. I'm just very picky, I guess. So I packed it up and returned it, got my money back, and I have a new pillow that is going much better. So my friend gave me one of these, and then someone else got me one of these. So now I have two to use. And it is called the Hiccapop. And I got mine on Amazon, but you can get them from their website. I think this is like $20, $22. So it's a little wedge. This side is super soft. It's like got memory foam on top, and this side is firm. And I just have been like tucking it under my bump a little bit at night on one side. And so far, I'm liking it very much. I have been using it for like 5 days now, and I don't make it through the entire night using it, like at some point in the night when I'm asleep, this ends up on the floor. But it is not uncomfortable to me. And I know that as my bump gets bigger, I will probably use it more and more. So definitely not returning this one. I like it very much. And it's really soft and squishy, and I'm happy with it. Very happy. So that is the update on the pillow situation. The update on how I am feeling is not great, but I did have a doctor's appointment last week. It wasn't an ultrasound appointment, but I did get to hear the heartbeat. And the doctor, she was like, oh, so the heartbeat is this many beats per minute. I think it's a girl. And I was like, you think? And she was like, yes, I'm right 50% of the time. Very funny. Very funny. So my next appointment is not until the end of July, and then hopefully we'll be able to find out what it is, because I'm very excited to know. Hopefully, if the baby cooperates. We went over all of my symptoms. I obviously still have nausea all the time. I've been getting really bad headaches, which I understand is a symptom as well. And my stomach, it's just a whole thing. Like, I complained extensively about it last week. But she was like, well, there's still a little hope that you'll feel better, but maybe not, I don't know. So she gave me a prescription for the nausea, which I can take now because I'm not in the first trimester anymore. And that has been helping a lot. I've been taking one of those per day in the afternoon when my nausea gets the worst. Like today at 2 p.m., it just like, I don't know why, it just comes out of nowhere and like takes my whole life out. So I took one of those pills and within 20 minutes I was feeling better. So I'm thankful for that. I hate taking all these pills, but the most important thing is that I am healthy and happy and sleeping. That is the most important thing I can do for this baby, is not be miserable all the time. So this is all safe. Plenty of pregnant women have taken it. This is all things I keep reminding myself, because this is not how I like envisioned my life going when I was pregnant. And these might be famous last words, but this might be a one and done situation. This might be like the only baby ever, which if it is, I would be very grateful to have one. But I don't know that I want to do this for another 9 months. Like, it's pretty, and maybe it wouldn't be so bad if I wasn't working full-time. Working full-time, don't really have sick time, can't really call in. So I'm working full-time, and of course I'm running a church, which has mostly been meeting online, although we are going to be meeting in person starting this Sunday. We're really small. I know like a lot of big churches are still meeting online. We're really tiny. I bet there will be max, maybe 20 people there in a space that can hold like 200. So we will definitely be spread out, masks on 100% of the time, checking temperatures at the door. So I think that will be safe. I don't think we'll be adding to anyone's risk by doing that, because everything else in the world is open. And of course it's completely voluntary. So if someone does not want to come, they absolutely don't have to. We'll have an online option as well. But I've been trying to do that. Well, and be pregnant. It's just a lot. So like if I wasn't working or being a pastor, then perhaps I would be enjoying this a little more. But it seems like all of my energy is like just surviving at the moment, which isn't delightful, but I don't feel horrible at the moment, which is really, really nice. I also want to say, I do know just because I haven't said anything does not mean that I am not aware of what is going on in the world. Not just in the world with the protests and Black Lives Matter movement and all of that, but also with Ravelry and what's going on with the new Ravelry redesign, etc. So just because I haven't said anything, I don't want you to think that I don't care or that I don't know what's going on. I am aware of what is going on. The only thing I will say is, because I have been feeling so bad and so sick, I really have been not on social media or even the internet or doing anything very much recently. So I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on Instagram. I just don't have the energy to do it. So while I am aware of what is going on, I'm not actively involved in anything. But I hope you know, and certainly you should know, if you've been around for any length of time, that we play the long game here, right? Like, I think that it's okay that I'm pregnant and that I'm not on the front lines of activism right at this second, because I can't physically do it, or mentally for that matter. If I was not pregnant, you had better believe I would be out there protesting, like 100%. But not only do I not want to get sick from anything, let alone the virus, I physically like am simply incapable of being out in the heat like that, or even just out wearing a mask with a bunch of people right now. Like I can't do it. But we play a long game. Like, this is what activism is. This is what being anti-racist is. Like, I have always committed loudly, sometimes more loudly than others, but I hope you know, if you're here, that I mean what I say when I say that this space is a safe space for all people, and I do give priority to groups of people who have not been protected. So any kind of marginalized group, Black people, people of color, the LGBT plus community, I want this to be a safe space, and you all are so wonderful. I would say since the beginning of the year, I think I have deleted 2 comments that I didn't find particularly nice. And that is a pretty low, I think that's pretty low considering this is a public platform on YouTube. All of you are so wonderful and so respectful and so generous with your time and with your kind words to each other and to me. And I have had very, very few issues. But rest assured that I moderate the comments. I read every single comment, even if I don't respond right away. I know what's going on, and I will never allow any kind of discrimination or meanness or anything like that in the comments, in my space at all. I want this to be a safe space for all people. And just because I'm not on the front lines of the activism right now does not mean that it's not what I believe in my heart of hearts and how I try to orient my life. And as far as Ravelry is concerned, I do understand there are very significant issues and problems with the way that the new design is affecting people who have, like, it can be a migraine trigger. It can cause seizures for some people. Of course, I am not personally having an issue with it. And I do get migraines, but that does not invalidate all of the experiences of the people who they've been on this new website and it's caused them serious physical harm. So I know that there's some noise about moving platforms and some people aren't using Ravelry anymore. And so all I will say to that right now is I don't have the bandwidth to move anywhere else at the moment. I don't have the bandwidth to upload my patterns anywhere else, emotionally, physically, mentally. Like, I just don't have the ability to do that. So I will be continuing to use Ravelry. However, I 100% understand if you are unable to use Ravelry or if you've left out of some kind of solidarity for that. I get it. And I am 100% in support of you as well. And of course, I want Ravelry to do better because I love Ravelry, right? Like, I think, especially in the crafting community, the amount of people with either disabilities or needs that are perhaps more like specific than the general population is higher. Like, in our crafting community, that is a higher number of people than just the regular, like if you're just in Walmart. So I think that they have a duty to really, really listen to that and take these concerns seriously and make some changes. And I want to see that happen because I think it's such a good platform. Like, I want them to do better because I expect better from them. That's how I feel. But if you are not using that platform, I completely understand. Just know that I'm just not able, like, I can't open an Etsy store. For my crochet patterns, I can't do it. If you're not using Ravelry and you'd like to purchase one of my crochet patterns, you can always email me and I can send you a PayPal invoice. That would be fine. And I'll think regarding, in terms of giveaways, because I do host most of the giveaways through Ravelry, a way that if you don't use it, you can be included as well. So I'm kind of thinking about that in the background when I have a little bit of time. So I just want everyone to know that I am aware of what's going on and I'm keeping up with it. I just hope you'll forgive me for not being as involved in things as I normally am. It's a weird time in my life right now. It's weird to just go to work and come home. Like, literally yesterday, I know I'm saying literally a lot. Literally yesterday, I got up, I went to work. I had such a bad headache at about 3 p.m. at work. And so I got home, I ate dinner, and I felt like my head was exploding. So I laid on the couch, probably fell asleep for an hour, and then I was in bed last night at 8:30. Like, I just couldn't function. And it's like taking that much just to get through a work day, which, you know what? It'll be worth it. So at the moment, I'm feeling a little positive about it and not very grouchy. But hopefully you understand. And I will, of course, do my best to keep coming every 2 weeks. And hopefully next week I'll have a little more progress to show you. Instead of unmaking things, maybe I will have made some things. But you know what? If I don't, I'm trying not to be hard on myself, because this is a weird time in the world and a weird time for me personally, and just weird. So much weirdness. Maybe that should be the title of this episode. So much weirdness. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you're safe and healthy, and that you are surrounded by yarn and projects that you love and people that you love. And if you're not, just know I'm sending you a hug. We'll get through this together somehow, no matter how long it takes. The world has ended many times at night and begun again in the morning. And I can't remember who said that. I didn't make that up, but it's a quote from a poem. The world has ended many times at night and begun again in the morning. And so I trust that if you feel like the world is ending at the moment, it will begin again for you tomorrow or perhaps soon. And I will see you in 2 weeks. So until then, happy crafting. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, or you can hit subscribe directly down below if you'd like to be kept up to date as new videos come on the channel. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye, friends.